Lisa with OESD, and I'm excited to have you join me for an in-depth look at what a freestanding structure is and how to create one. When I first started embroidering, I thought I needed to be an expert in order to make a freestanding structure, and so I was overwhelmed and afraid to try. Well, this is the video that I wish I had back then. In the comments below, please share which freestanding structure you want to create and what knowledge you hope to gain from this video. And of course, stay tuned. I've put together 3 bundles to help you get started, or if you're an experienced freestanding structure guru, I have a way to save you lots of money on supplies. By the end of this video, you'll understand what it means when the instructions specify single-sided applique or double-sided or freestanding lace. You'll know what stabilizers and notions are required and how to read OESD instructions and feel more confident in starting your next freestanding structure. It's everything you want to know before you start. OESD's journey with freestanding lace and freestanding applique began in the early 2000s. Back then, our designs lacked structure and required a lot of effort and spray adhesive. As the leaders of embroidery, we didn't stop there and we continue to strive for better results. By 2007, we introduced the double duo of a cut line and tack down for all appliques. This means that if you accidentally cut the cut line, the tack down is there to hold the applique fabric in place. By 2010, we released the first Winter Village structure. I have this beautiful church right here. And we began recommending the use of applique fusion fix to prevent the fabric from fraying. With the addition of structures to our Winter Village, we began incorporating staple stick cutaway to provide increased stiffness and enhancing the stability. We were on our way, but we still had more evolving to do. Fast forward to 2023, and we began adding fiberform to all of our structures. This innovative product was the missing link that gave added stability and body and longevity. This year, we've taken freestanding structures to new heights, both literally and figuratively. Take a look at the magnificent freestanding Hogwarts that I have just over my shoulder. And OESD continues to be the leader in developing beautiful, easier to make, and long-lasting embroidery structures. For more information on the history to explore additional freestanding applique techniques, visit our project hub on OESD.com or visit the link below. So let's start at the very beginning of the process here at OESD. First, we start with an idea. Say a tower, a haunted tower. Here I have a black and white paper version of that idea. This is a paper version of the terrifying tower, part of the haunted village. This proves the concept, and then we move on to color and designs version on paper, which I have right here. After that, we create our final version. It undergoes over 100 hours of testing in our sew out lab. 100 hours. That's right, 100 hours. This rigorous testing process ensures the highest quality for our customers. Truly impressive from beginning to end. Speaking of the haunted village, did you know that we add to our collections every year? We not only have the haunted village, we also have the gingerbread village, and what you saw earlier, the winter village, and a new pumpkin collection every fall. Let's look at the freestanding quilt block pumpkins as an example. What I love about OESD instructions is that they are super consistent. Did you know that you can download the instructions for any of our collections free of charge? Free of charge at any time at OESD.com. Also free of charge, the thread chart. The thread chart includes all of the color changes for each design file, which to me serves as a clue for what's going on. For example, on this page for 13015-01, which I have right here, step 1 is the placement line for our fiberform and cream fabric. What I love about OESD instructions is that they provide information on the thread colors, supplies that are required, such as our stabilizers, our textiles and fabrics, our notions and tools, and a summary page. The summary pages indicate the number of each design that needs to be stitched out to complete the structure. In the example of these pumpkins on page 7, you'll notice that it indicates the type of embroidery about to be shown, in this case, single-sided applique, directly next to the word embroidery. There's also a section on general instructions and the designs that we will use as an example. Since the process remains consistent mainly throughout most of the project, we don't conduct step outs for each design number within a collection. Instead, we select the most challenging one and use that as an example of the process. Typically, our instructions begin with single-sided applique designs, followed by double-sided applique, freestanding lace, assembly process, and then the punch guides. After that, we have our applique patterns and our mirrored applique patterns. Our preferred method for freestanding structures is to use the mirrored applique pattern for the pre-cut applique. The reason for this is that it allows for less fabric fraying, easier construction, and eliminates the need to trim fiber form in the hoop. Now that we understand how the instructions and thread chart are laid out, let's talk about the stabilizers and notions that make freestanding structures possible. In our pumpkin example, we need both Aquamesh Washaway and Badge Master as the base for what will be embroidered. Both dissolve in water after embroidery, but during this process, we have found that one layer of each is the perfect combination of strength and stability. The next step is to provide a backbone for our appliqued fabric. Depending on the instructions or the project of the freestanding structure you are making, the instructions will recommend soft web or stable stick cutaway, or maybe even both. Soft web has a bit more durability and stable stick provides a little bit more firmness. Both help keep the cotton from fraying and give it a little extra body throughout the whole process. Without, your fabric can fray out of the seam allowance or cover stitch and reduce the durability of your freestanding structure. Then we have FiberForm. I like to think of this product as a sewable cardboard. It will provide the shape and the rigidity for our structure. And while I say rigid, FiberForm is also strong but easy to cut, and with a little bit of steam, it's also easy to shape. It's one of my favorite products. Without FiberForm, freestanding structures will droop and sag, keeping our Eiffel Tower from becoming the Leaning Tower of Pisa, so clearly we need to have FiberForm. And then last, but certainly not least, is applique, fuse, and fix. Because trimming FiberForm in the hoop is tricky, I vastly prefer trimming ahead of time as part of my prep before embroidering. Applique, fuse, and fix can be printed and then adhered to FiberForm using an iron. I think it's time to clean up this table before we go on to the next step. So what is the difference between single-sided applique and double-sided applique? Here is an example. I have a pumpkin leaf that shows both sides, making it double-sided because you're going to see both sides of it. Whereas this pumpkin section will have only one side visible. On the other side, you'll just see the back of the embroidery, so it's single-sided. We're not going to see this once the pumpkin is completely made. The process is almost the same for both, but you have a couple of extra steps with the double-sided applique. On your embroidery machine, you'll have loaded the design you're going to stitch. Place the hoop in the machine and stitch out your first element, the placement line for the FiberForm and the fabric. Here you'll see that I have my placement line for my FiberForm and my fabric. Here I have FiberForm adhered with applique, fuse, and fix. This was that product that I was holding up earlier, and I want to mention that a great thing about applique, fuse, and fix is that it is repositionable. I'd adhered it to the FiberForm with an iron, and it's going to allow me to place it precisely within that placement line. My tip for applique, fuse, and fix is to print the mirrored image, which you'll see right here, I have that mirrored image, of the design that you're stitching. And you're going to want to print out one page at a time. The heat from the printer can cause the glue on the applique, fuse, and fix to become sticky and gunky, and it might mess up your printer, which then is no good. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this on the, I've already started doing it, but I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim on the outer edge of that black placement line. And I'm just going to try to do the best that I can. And then, what's really nice is that I can actually use my perfect scoring tool. And if I score this, then I can go ahead and just use the perfect scoring tool to help release the paper, but not take off the glue that is there that we've just put onto the fiber form with the applique, fuse, and fix. And then I can place it, and if I don't like where it is, I can pick it right back up and then place it. Notice that we did not use applique, fuse, and fix with the fabric. There is a reason for this, and I'll explain a little bit more in a moment, but I'm going to place this right down on top of the fiber form. And I'm going to completely cover it and secure it in place with tape. And then it's going to go right back to the embroidery machine for the tack down and cut line. Time to trim the fabric. You'll notice we have our 2 rows of stitching. We have our cut line and our tack down, so that when I go to trim this, if I accidentally cut the outer row, it will be all right because the inner row is holding it in place. Since we did not pre-cut our prepared fabric earlier, it sits nicely over the fiber form, making the rest of the process neater and eliminating the possibility of the fabric coming up too short in the seam allowances or being too short for the finishing cover stitch. Return the hoop to the machine and complete any decorative stitching according to the design. This is where the thread chart is also helpful in understanding which element is being stitched. After stitching out the decorative elements, you'll get to the cover stitch, and this will require you to change your bobbin to match your top thread. And don't worry if you can't remember this because it is in the instructions, no need for mind reading. After completing an embroidery design or motif for the structure you're creating, you'll remove it from the hoop. Carefully, what you're going to do next is trim the aqua mesh and the badge master to about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch outside of the design, taking care not to cut either the buttonettes or the eyelets or the tabs. There is a third element that some structures have, and that is freestanding lace. In our pumpkin example, it is the stem. So whether it is single-sided or double-sided applique or freestanding lace, the embroidery motifs will need to be rinsed with warm running water and placed face down to dry. They can curl if facing up, so facing them down is recommended. Dry them on parchment paper or a Teflon mat. I don't recommend drying on a terry cloth towel as our stabilizers are made of starch, cellulose, and other binders which can be a little sticky. Next, you're going to want to use a perfect embroidery press cloth and press your embroidery face down. This tool prevents the stitches from getting smushed and helps them maintain their original shape. And if your structure involves shaping, now is a great time to apply steam and shape as desired. As an example, these pumpkins kind of have this curve right in here. That's when we would use steam. Following the punch guide in the instructions, you'll use the perfect punch tool in the mini mat to create a hole for a buttonette to come through. Our digitizers ensure that each hole features a beautiful satin stitch to prevent the fabric from fraying into the central part of the embroidered motif. A tool I can't live without is the mini mat because it ensures that my cutting mat remains in perfect condition for the use of my rotary cutter later on with the bigger pieces of fabric. Now it's time to assemble. Using an alligator clamp to pull buttonettes through the eyelets is a breeze. Simply ensure that you fed the clamp through the hole grab the buttonette and pull it through. Then, to make sure that when you go on to the next one, this doesn't pull apart, we use a button clip, and now we can go on to the next one. Rest assured, all OESD freestanding structures come with a comprehensive, full-color, step-by-step guide for assembling the embroidery motifs. Let's take a moment to discuss some other very helpful tools in your freestanding structure journey. While these are not critical, they make life so much easier. First, let's start with my favorite thing of all, the Grippy Grid, the All-Star or the VIP for hooping. This silicone mat is a game changer, allowing the outer hoop to stay still as you place the inner hoop inside of it. The 1-inch markings and bold lines that mark the center of the hoop are a bonus. Another one of my favorite loves in life is the perfect scoring tool. It's not just excellent for paperback stabilizer, but it excels at removing that paper from applique, fuse, and fix, as we saw earlier, without removing any of the sticky stuff, meaning you don't have to print out another page of applique, fuse, and fix or use up more fiber form because the glue came off with the paper. You definitely want to use the perfect scoring tool for that. Expert Embroidery Tape Tearaway is a great tool for positioning the fabric in the hoop where you need it. It ensures that the fabric stays in place without sliding or slipping around. Expert Embroidery Tape Washaway is your go-to solution in an accidental tear that will occur in the hoop. Don't throw away the stabilizer that you've hooped just because there's a little hole. Place a piece of washaway tape on the back and you're good to go, easy peasy. As for needles for freestanding applique, we recommend a sharp 7511, and for freestanding lace, use a ballpoint 8012. Again, no need for mind reading. We have them listed in the instructions. Now, I'm going to clear the table because it's time to talk about bundles. The first bundle focuses on stabilizers, featuring a roll of each Fiberform, Aquamesh, Badge Master, and Stable Stick Cutaway. Usually about 125 bucks, yours for only $94.99. The Notions bundle is your key to freestanding success, packed with the perfect punch tool, mini mat, button clips, and alligator clamp. It's a steal for around 56 bucks, but for you, only $43.99. The last bundle, I'm calling it the I Want It All bundle. It's both bundles together, worth over 180 bucks, but yours for only $139.99. A smart purchase. You'll get all 4 rolls of stabilizers, the perfect punch tool and mini mat and alligator clamp and button clips. These bundles are designed with your needs in mind. Whether you only need the stabilizers, or you have the stabilizers but not the tools, or you're ready to tackle the freestanding structure you've always wanted to do, these bundles have you covered. I would love to know in the comments below what freestanding structure you are thinking about making next. And if you're not sure, we actually have the Project Hub on OESD.com, where we have lots and lots of projects for you to peruse and think about making for your next project. I'm thrilled to have shared this valuable information with you today, and I'm confident it will empower you to tackle your next freestanding structure with ease. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more great OESD content right in your feed. And why not join our vibrant community over at The Perfect Stitch on Facebook for even more inspiration and tips. Thank you again for watching, and happy stitching.